Barney, not you too.
I'm not a zombie, but hey, when in Rome. Wow, George Washington!
Take that, Washington. Eat lead, Einstein. Show's over, Shakespeare.
Is this the end of zombie Shakespeare?
It's showtime!
Alrighty, it has been a while. It's been about... How long has it been here? Hold on, I actually have a way to measure that. So it's been 2 weeks. If anybody has seen Total Recall, 2 weeks. So I'm doing all this and shit, and then Arnold's face pops out of the fat ginger lady before almost getting sucked out of the airlock. Anyway, hi. It has been about 2 weeks, and I decided to do this part-time still. Streaming is very important to me. But wait a minute. The reason I'm saying that is because I landed an excellent job, and I mean excellent. Like, I could actually say it is a great job. The people there are awesome. Like, really. Like Ben, Vicky, Casey, TJ, Scott, Jack, even Ronick. Don't worry about it. You came in, said hello, and interrupted my monologue. But thank you. And in all seriousness, though, I landed an excellent job. Shout out to all the people I just shouted out at. It's really nice to stream with really good energy. I'm a big believer in that. I'm not like, a crunchy granola person where I'm like, I'm feeling aloof today. No, it's a good balance. It's good energy. And it's nice to start a stream with positivity. So since now that I have an excellent job, I am working remotely from home. I would say 70% of the time, streaming is going to be a 2-day-a-week thing. So for now, until my schedule stabilizes, I'll be doing Saturdays. And then after that, I will be doing twice a week. So mostly Wednesdays and Saturdays, and then we'll figure shit out. And with that said, I'm going to stick with my comfort food. I'm sticking with my comfort food. Or what? If you've seen, I forget the name of the guy, but he does like voiceovers, but there was, Cammy, they were making fun of the Street Fighter, the USA animated Street Fighter series, where Cammy, of course, is from the UK. She's like, "All right, Blanca, good to see you. Catch you later." Right? But I'm sticking with comfort food, and I've been wanting to stream this for a while. This was actually what I wanted to stream after we got through Jet Moto a couple of weeks ago. But then, of course, I realized I was hired, and I took a break. And again, I feel refreshed. I really do. But Sega Genesis had a lot of really good games on it. Good titles, whatever you want to call it. But I'll have to plan ahead for that. Or, I mean, if helium won't damage my brain, I could find helium, right? I don't even think you can find helium anymore. Helium is starting to become prorated due to its rarity. But the Sega Genesis is still an excellent system. Not the best hardware, but I mean, look at what Nintendo did. Ooh, dust. Look at what Nintendo did with the N64 and the GameCube and the DS and the Switch. It's not necessarily the hardware, it's how the hardware is handled. But Sega Genesis and Eternal Champions, which is what is paused behind me. Eternal Champions is really good. It's quite underrated because at the time, you know, Wednesdays and Saturdays, my friend. Well, Saturdays moving forward. So my old school time, around like what, noon or one, between noon and one I start, and then for like an hour or two. I'm not really looking to stay around too long today. This is more or less a just like a catching up stream and just getting back into speed. It was really refreshing to take a couple of weeks off. I never take time off, ever. Like, in all of my streaming, the only time I ever took time off was when we went on vacation. That was it. Or I'd taken, like, a random off day here and there. But I never took time off, ever. And it was really nice to just pump the brakes for a moment and, like, reconvene and re-energize, you know? It's very, very important. But Eternal Champions here, I'm trying to put all this into thought to eloquently put out. I was like, I think 12 or 13 at the time, and there was a commercial there was the advertisement campaign on TV when I was a kid, and I saw the commercial where it showed like the Sega Genesis cart like sneaking around, like from its perspective on the floor, so you see it like it's like a dog. It's like, and it's like going around, and it finds a Street Fighter 2 cartridge, and it like chases it into the kitchen. And they're advertising how Eternal Champions will essentially eat other fighting games for breakfast. And I was hooked. And I remember... My nose is slightly running. I remember going to, at the time, there was a retail chain called Service Merchandise. And it's kind of like what PC Richard and Son is today, or like... kind of like Walmart, but just on a smaller scope, sorry. So I remember going into Service Merchandise. Bill Cosby used to do commercials for Service Merchandise. That's a throwback for it. So I go into my local Service Merchandise, and I still remember what the store looks like today. It's pretty cool. And I always, obviously, as a kid, I would always go to the toys / electronics section, right? Because they had all the action figures like G.I. Joes and Crash Test Dummy toys, which are some of the best toys ever. Like, I regret getting rid of those toys. I had all of them. The cars and everything. But that's another conversation I can easily tangent into. But I remember there was a Sega Genesis kiosk, which I spent tons of time playing. And I wanted to buy Eternal Champions. My grandmother, my Italian grandmother, at the time, I didn't change my text crawl. My Italian grandmother at the time gave me the money to purchase Eternal Champions. I had jet motor scrolling on top. I didn't even realize that. So anyway, I pretty much got the cart that was stuck in the kiosk Sega Genesis. And the way they displayed their... back then, we actually had physical games with boxes. So there were, like, if you go and look at a poster rack, where, like, they have the... they look like doors that hinge, so you could, like, view the poster. They had the same thing with all of the cartridge boxes. So I remember my copy of Eternal Champions, it had a little hole in it on the box because the price tag was in the kiosk. So I went home, I fired it up, and I instantly fell in love with this game. Now, I'm only going to monologue for a brief while longer, but what I really, really loved... Yeah, no, dude, I am not touching that poison. I'm sorry. I hate Roblox. If you guys like Roblox, good on you. I will never touch that garbage. I tried playing it once. The little dude, Remy, likes to play it. He enjoys it. I'm fine with that, but nope, not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Sorry. Correction. If you guys want to, we'll get a Patreon going, and you guys want to support a bottle of whiskey, I will gladly go to and I'm talking about good whiskey. I don't want a nipper bottle. I don't want that cheap shit. If you guys could round up some cash for like some primo Johnny Walker whiskey, I'll drink half the bottle and play Roblox. I'll get drunk on camera for you guys. I ain't touching Roblox, man. I'm sorry. That's one thing I'm going to be very clear on. Not touching Roblox. Nope. Unless if you guys buy me a bottle of whiskey. I ain't touching Roblox. And I'll make reasonable accommodations for that. With the whiskey, of course. So, the thing I love about Eternal Champions, and this is from a kid who grew up idolizing Mortal Kombat, and like the darker, like story-heavy side of things, like RoboCop. I don't know what it was about that film, but it got my attention when I was a kid, and it wasn't just the violence. I think it was like 8 when I first saw RoboCop. No, we would just work out a Patreon or something, and you know, you guys all donate, and once we hit the goal, I'll go out and I'll buy a good bottle of stuff, and I'll come back and we'll do Roblox. I'm serious. Like, I am like looking into the camera. I'm legit serious. If you guys want me to play shit that I don't want anything to do with, I will gladly drink on it to ease the pain. So, growing up with the likes of good cinema like RoboCop, Terminator, Predator, just like really dark, foreboding, but grounded good storytelling. That's where Eternal Champions spoke to me the most. Now, I wish I would have held on to it because the story content for this game is actually really good. Playing Roblox, drunk out of our fucking minds. I just spent $5. So, this is what's cool about Eternal Champions here. So, this, of course, is being emulated through SEGA Fusion. Yeah, Midnight. Dude. Oh, man, I remember his story. So let's do this. Let's do some, let's do a whole bunch of soft resets here so we can actually see the characters interact with the SEGA logo. Ah, that's Larson. Yeah, dude. This is so cool. Larson's story is awesome, man. So that's Larson. Yeah? Well, I want it to be like an entire audience thing, not so. Don't hold yourself accountable there, dude. And they're gonna be like, "What are you? What? You're asking to pay to support a man getting drunk? They probably think you're out of your mind." Oh, Trident, he's the best. So let's see here. Who else do we have? We'll probably get a couple of repeats. Ooh, Xavier. The Midas Touch. That's so... Dude, this is pretty fucking awesome, if I do say so myself. Rax. Ah! I don't remember that. Are you calling whiskey a drug or Roblox? Yes. Here again. So yeah, we're gonna get a couple of resets here. Ooh, Blade. Yeah! That's a Predator thing. The sprite work in this is awesome, man. I will say this. The animations are really good. Let's see what else we got here. Blade again. He just did that. So this is randomized. We're just falling victim to RNG here. Ooh, Slash. Nice. Yeah, and all of the attacks that they're performing against the Sega Genesis logo here, or the Sega logo, I should say, are their actual special moves. This is really cool. Very clever stuff. Trident again. Larson again. Larson's cool. So what we'll do is we'll go into the, dude, I don't know. It depends. I mean, I'm gonna get, like, banned on Twitch here. He's talking about liquor to a youngin'. I don't know, dude. It depends. Like, there's different brands. There's different styles. Like, I don't drink much. Of course, I was partially joking, but I'm serious when I say the only way I'm gonna touch Roblox is if I'm gonna have a few shots. But it depends, man. It really depends on what you want, what flavor you want, what style you want, how it's distilled. I would say $20 plus. I really don't know. So that is Jetta. Let's see. I think there's Shadow. That's Rax. So let's see here. Trident again. All right, so let's do this a couple more times. Midnight. I'm just gonna move this over so I can see the chat. Let's see. Nope. We'll talk about this in the Discord. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. And I'm serious when I say that. All right. So let's let a track mode play here. And let's make sure that... So yeah, sounds good. All right. Welcome to my chamber. I am the Eternal Champion, keeper of this vast fighting complex. All right, dude, I'll catch you later. It exists in a place and time corrupted by centuries of misuse and destruction. My purpose in this grand scheme is to... Hold on. Is to maintain the balance between good and evil, light and darkness, hope and despair. You too, man. Be safe. I'll talk to you later. Now, this balance has been lost, and the very fabric that holds the world together will be torn apart. Your future, my present, has been destroyed by a cruel and unjust twist of fate. Ah, that's right. Nine individuals from various periods in time were killed before their lives could affect this dark existence. I have observed each of their short lives and have been powerless to stop the chaos. Yeah, dude, the story in this is really good. Like, there are pages upon pages of storytelling here. I have spent the centuries harnessing my power for this very moment. I am the pure and untouched energy of all the great martial arts masters that have lived before me. Their skill, wisdom, knowledge, and inner strength are at my command. Actually, with reading that line of martial arts masters, Trident uses capoeira, which is strange because he doesn't look like he uses capoeira, but Eddie Gordo uses capoeira. So anybody familiar with Tekken and the character Eddie Gordo, who was first introduced in Tekken 3, knows exactly what capoeira is and why, looking at Trident, it seems pretty strange. Some of his kicks and all that are capoeira-based, but capoeira, I believe, was originally devised and created by slaves who wanted to fight their masters, but wanted to hide the fact that they were fighting, and they made it look like dance. That is essentially the history of capoeira. Look it up. It's pretty fascinating. Even with the force of their collective powers, I can only reward one of the 9 individuals with the gift of life. Oh, dude. Any of them can have an equally profound effect on the future. For this reason, the contest must take place. At the end of this contest, only one will remain. The victor will be returned to life a few seconds before their death, not his, because we do have Jeddah and Shadow, who are female, before their death, allowing them to avoid the past with the knowledge to change the future. Only one may live so that the balance may again be achieved. Let the contest begin. So I will say right off the bat, Trident is amazing, but he's also completely broken, and he makes the absolutely astonishingly difficult AI a cakewalk. So, I played the shit out of this when I was a kid. Character biographies. Oh, wow, I forgot about this. So we got Shadow Yamamoto, Rax Coswell. The music in this is excellent, by the way. I will say that many times. Jonathan Blade, not to be confused with Wesley Snipes. Seriously. Jeddah Max. Oh, she's kind of hot. Slash, yep, the caveman. Trident, he's a gladiator from 110 BC. He is so cool. Xavier Pendragon, a warlock from 1692. Ah, Midnights. Mitchell Middleton Knights. Ah, biochemical scientist. Larson Tyler, ex-cat burglar. So Shadow Yamamoto from 1993. She's, by then standards, modern. So Rax is a kickboxer from 2345. Wesley Snipes is from 2030 AD. He's a bounty hunter. Jetta is, she's a trapeze artist. So just think of like Robin from Batman and Robin, 1899. Slash is a hunter-gatherer from 50,000 BC. Trident is a gladiator from the lost city of Atlantis, mind you, in 110 BC. Xavier Pendragon, he's a scientist from 1692 AD, the Salem Witch Trials. Let's see here. Midnight is, he's a scientist from the Vietnam era. Larson is from the gangsta era in Chicago, see, 1920 AD. So let's see here. Taijutsu is a system of unarmed combat similar to Jiu-Jitsu and is a forerunner of modern Judo. They lay it on thick in this game, man, and I think that's where there's a really big disconnect because everybody, like, was used to the arcade style of, like, Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, where the story in Street Fighter was essentially a MacGuffin. We could thank the Capcom Street Fighter 2, the animated film, or the animated feature, for actually bringing story to Street Fighter. But I think Mortal Kombat 2, especially, was an excellent mix of what, like, brief yet excellent storytelling and arcade gameplay could bring to the table. But Eternal Champions was different, and I wouldn't say it was hated. It was just misunderstood because there's a lot under the hood here. And unfortunately, you kind of have to go digging. But as a kid who played this constantly, I remember sitting and reading this stuff, and I was like, that's really cool. So they get into her history of the martial arts. The ninja fighting art combines all the areas of offense and defense. So yeah, she was one of the best assassins in the Black Orchid Corporation. She performed many tasks ranging from individual eliminations to ending large corporate takeovers. A true star at the Black Orchid headquarters, Shadow never thought much about the morality of her career. Ultimately, she learned that if a job was not satisfactorily, completed, another assassin would in turn eliminate her. When Shadow realized that her own mortality was in jeopardy, she found that she couldn't bring herself to kill others. Since the corporation did not allow resignation, they arranged a fall from the 101st floor of the Black Orchid building. This stopped her from telling the world about Black Orchid and similar corporations and their dark secrets of hired killers. So this is like John Wick almost? This knowledge would have had a huge impact on international business going into... Dude, that's deep. So let's see here. Going off of memory, Rax is the last of the old guard of Muay Thai fighters. Think of him as like Jean-Claude Van Damme from Kickboxer. So essentially, and begrudgingly, he has cybernetic implants obviously placed on his body. And before the end of his title fights, somebody placed a virus in his OS and he dies before he could put in the final blow. Blade comes in contact with a virus that'll wipe out humanity. So when he's after a bounty who's holding a virus. Think of 12 Monkeys, where just before the final moment, you either see Bruce Willis succeed or fail. Jetta, I don't remember her fighting style. Savate. Ooh. Savate is a form of hand and foot fighting practiced by the French. Yeah, Jetta's hot. This method of fighting... Wait a minute. This method of fighting to the knockout was once popular with the aristocracy. I can't read today. Savate is noted for its flamboyant kicking techniques. It is practiced by relatively few people today. Pencak Silat is the national fighting art of Indonesia. Dude, this is a history lesson. Known as a dancing martial art, it mainly encompasses the study of empty-handed fighting. Many of the moves are based upon evasion and warding off of attack. When attacks occur, they are met with lightning strikes that drive opponents off balance so they can then be dropped to the ground. Jetta was always a rebel. As a youth, she changed her given Russian name to Jetta Max to sound more, oh, she's Russian. Oh, no way. I knew somebody in Russia. Born in Russia, cousin to Tsar Nicholas II, Jetta traveled the world as a performer in... Ah, that's right! In a famous international circus, Cirque du Soleil. During her many travels, which included visits to France and Indonesia, she learned gymnastics and martial arts. In 1899, her circus troupe visited China. At the time, China was being ripped apart by the Boxer Rebellion, the Chinese attempt to rid their homeland of foreigners. Unfortunately, many innocent Chinese were also dying. Spurred by her compassion, Jeddah decided to help infiltrate the Yi Wang, or Righteous Harmony Fists, and get them to turn their ways of pacifism before the major foreign powers brought all of their military forces to bear. Now, I think what happened with her is they sabotaged the trapeze act. In addition, she realized that Russia's involvement in fighting of the East would further weaken its stability. Before Jeddah was able to bring a peaceful end to the fighting and chains of history of Russia and China, she fell victim to an act of sabotage by a radical form of the Yi Kuang. During a command performance of the Crown Emperor of China, Jeddah's safety net and tension wire were cut during the grand finale. She plummets her death. So if I remember correctly, Slash was a thinker and a scholar in a time where people just grunted, groaned, and hit things with sticks. So he was stoned to death because he was different. His fighting style is pain! This style includes any moves or attacks that will cause pain or damage. Eye poking, eardrum popping, neck throttling, nostril pulling, hair yanking, genital mutilation, sticking a club up the ass, poking your eyes out, pissing on you after you're on fire. Pain, you get the idea. The most deadly moves come from build-up attacks. Okay, so he's the brawler. Slash, extremely advanced for a prehistoric creature, was the greatest hunter and the best fighter of his generation. Pain. These skills didn't just come from his great strength, but also from the emergence of an early intelligence. Yep. The clan elders resented him for his intelligence and rejected all of his ideas, including an agriculture plan which would free the clan from its enslavement to a life of drudgery as hunter-gatherer. Dude, this is really good. This is 19... Remember, people. This game is 30 years old. This is really ahead of its time. And what's really sad is there were interviews with the creators. There is a sequel to this. It's Eternal Champions Challenge from the Dark Side, which is technically a very impressive game, but I always prefer the original because I could easily cheese it, right? But the creators of this, after the sequel launched, were in meetings with the heads of SEGA to do a Saturn version. And SEGA's higher-ups said that we're focusing on Virtua Fighter, no more Eternal Champions. So unfortunately, these games are lost to time, which is why emulation is important for games preservation. Who plays Eternal Champions today besides me? Nobody. Let's see here. Just wanted to make sure. Okay. One day, Slash publicly spoke out against the elders in a clan meeting, proclaimed to be an evil force. He was stoned to death. So Trident. Trident was a gladiator who had a pillar pushed on him. I cannot remember. He's a fishman, so he is... Fishman! So he is part of, he's part of the city of Atlantis. And notice his trident on his sprite on the right-hand side of the screen. It's like a fork, but in his art, it's a little different. That always bothered me. Capoeira, Brazilian form of combat adopted by African slaves to fight against oppression. What did I tell you? In it, the foot is considered the strongest weapon, while the head represents the most vulnerable target. Thus, bringing the foot to the opponent's head, the strong... Like, let's see. Weakest opponent. The weakest part of the opponent is the head. The strongest part is my foot. Head. Foot. What? No. Bring your foot to the opponent's head. This involves not only kicking, but also somersaults and handsprings. So Trident does not have any of that, okay? He is... Look at his foot sprites as the frames go by. That drives me crazy. Trident is so named because of the trident that replaced the hand he lost in a duel with a shark. That tells you how badass he is. People of Atlantis during this time lived above the water. I think there was sabotage and he knew about it. Let's see here. Let's see if my memory serves me right, which it usually does. The people of Atlantis during this time lived above the water. They were competing with the Romans to see who would control the Earth's surface. The loser would be plunged into the watery depths. Dude. The Atlanteans spent their time in pursuit of science. They realized early on that a major part of land was going to sink into the ocean. To handle this, they built great environments that were enclosed in bubbles so that they could survive the ocean's depths. But I will say, like, the writing in this is really good. As far as trying to, like, tell a story, this is... They offered a fair settlement to the Romans. Half of the culture would stay on land, and the other half would go to sea. The Romans would not agree, and they would only settle the issue through battle. The Atlanteans had no choice but to create a warrior. I forgot about that. That would stand up against the warlike Romans. Their Trident was champion. Their Trident was their champion. The Romans rigged the fight and crushed Trident under a large stone pillar. With this loss, the Atlanteans were forced to go undersea, and their culture was lost forever. This plays into history, dude. This is awesome. So Xavier was an alchemist during the Salem witch trials, and once the higher-ups found out what was going on, they burned him in a stake. They burned him at a stake, sorry. Hapkido. Interesting. Hapkido emphasizes a non-violent code of counter-defense. If the force of an attacker's blow is strong, it must be met with a soft reception and counter moves. If the force is soft, it must be countered with a powerful defense. This approach leads to the fluid circular motion and constant mobility of the art. The cane is used in a place of the limbs. Almost all hits and defenses are performed by the cane. This is fucking fascinating. What I was telling y'all when I first started streaming this earlier, this is highly underrated. Fantastic art design, excellent story, and kind of a history lesson because we're getting the factual info drops of martial arts, and it's tied into fictional, historical, fictional, and non-fictional regards. That is really cool. Xavier always made poor career choices, so it was no surprise that his last job should end in failure. That's no way to start. It kind of looks like a sniveling dude. After nailing still smoking horseshoes onto the mayor's prize workhorse, Xavier found himself in a shack full of smithy tools and no job. Stirred by a love for science, Xavier decided to try his hand at alchemy, the age-old quest for the formula which would turn lead to gold. Instead, he found a new way to create an unlimited source of cheap, clean-burning energy that would put Salem on the map forever. Dude! This is fucking awesome. Whoever wrote this deserves some serious props. Also, he found that his alchemy had changed him, giving him strange new powers. Before Xavier could use his power and document it for the good of the future generations, he found himself bound and gagged as the people of Salem carted him off to the town square. They burned him at the stake on a false charge of him being a warlock. While some of Xavier's powers could be mistaken for witchcraft, they are all based on real science. Which is what alchemy is, if you think about it. All magic, if you think of the old adage, magic is misunderstood science. So Midnight. Midnight became a vampire because he was trying to find a cure to some type of flesh-eating virus. Biochemical scientist. Jeet Nudo. So Jeet Kune Do, I believe it's actually pronounced. This is what Bruce Lee practices. Known as way of intercepting fists. Yep. This style of collection of the basic mental and physical concepts, observation of combat maneuvers, and philosophies of an attitude gathered and developed by the late Bruce Lee. God damn it, this is awesome. Night work for the CIA on loan from Interpol. Born in London? I'm a vampire, ahoy. He was one of the best biochem scientists working in the intelligence community. The CIA needed Mitchell to work on a biochemical weapon to end the Vietnam War. He created a virus that would weaken its victims until they hovered near death, waiting for the antidotes. The virus was to be introduced into the water supply of Vietnam, but Mitchell wouldn't stand for that much human destruction. He stole back his formula and fled back to London to hide. Unfortunately, Mitchell was cornered at the airport by both CIA and Interpol agents. During the escape, he fell from a 9-story building into a chemical vat used by the airport. The force of the impact broke the seal on the virus container and released the stream into the chemical vat. This mixture created an unexpected result. He was transformed into a living vampire. Whoa. Using his newfound cunning and strength, Mitchell fled to London, where he spent the next 133 years mainly searching for a cure to his disease. No longer identifying his own past, Mitchell became known as Midnight. Mitchell came to be known as Midnight. The cure had become more and more important since the government used the virus during the Vietnam War. By using the contents of the airport chemical vat. Many of third world countries became overrun with living vampires. Midnight was also running out of time because his body, with the exception of his neck and face, was rotting away due to the fact that he would not kill another person to renew his life energy. Midnight was about to solve the last hitch in the antidote when a government agent killed him by firing a magnesium stake through his heart. Dude, this is like, holy fuck! So I think Larson's story, it involves a bomb in a hospital, and I think it was a target that he was supposed to take out, which might have been the police commissioner? Praying Mantis Kung Fu. A style of Kung Fu characterized by fierce grasping movements. That's why he has the Shredder gauntlets on his fists. I just realized that. Shredder gauntlets. Style of Kung Fu characterized by fierce grasping movements, clawing attacks, and punches. This fighting style originated in the Shaolin Temple. The priests needed a technique that would allow them to attack larger and stronger opponents. The priests observed two fighting mantises and used a style to make this a brutal and specialized art. We fought mantises and we're better! So it goes one line at a time. That's very cool. We're in an era of crime bosses and racketeering. Lawson grew up respecting and idolizing the many powerful crime bosses who ruled the street. I'll stop now. As a youth, he went to work for Mr. Tagliani, one of the most powerful. I like how this is like nondescript. Is it Chicago or New York? I would assume Chicago. Under his wing, Larson grew up to be one of the world's best cat burglars. He did many jobs for Mr. Tagliani, including the planting of illegal evidence in the hideouts of other crime bosses. There was one thing Larson wouldn't do, and that was kill. Instead, he used martial arts to stop and drop his attackers. One day, Mr. Tagliani asked Larson to plant a package on a crime boss who is recovering in the hospital, I told you! When he entered the room that supposedly contained the boss, he instead found the recovering chief of police, who had been hurt in a prior assassination attempt. It seemed that the mob wanted the chief dead because he was incorruptible, and was about to declare war on the mob. Larson suddenly realized that he had been set up. The package he carried probably contained a bomb. At this moment, he decided that he had chosen the wrong side. He wouldn't kill. He tried to throw the bomb out the window, but it was too late. The resulting explosion not only killed Larson and the chief, but also most of the people in the hospital, including several youngsters in a children's wing. Dude! Like, this is seriously good stuff. And I will say that one thing all of this storytelling inadvertently does is it creates stakes for all of these characters. This is really cool, man. So, okay, so that's just the track mode. So let's look at the credits real quick here. Okay, never mind. That's gonna take too long. So there's a lot of really cool stuff here. So we have information. We just went through all of this. We have tournament mode. We have one player, and then we have options. Now there is no difficulty setting. That is one thing, and I think this is what really started the downfall of Eternal Champions, even before it got to get its feet on the ground. Was this game's fucking hard. Like, this game is brutally difficult. And what's interesting is I think you go through 8 characters or something before you fight the Eternal Champion. And if, like, say you're on the 4th character and you lose, it puts you back by 2 characters. And all of the moves in this game are charge-based. There are no fireball moves. Hold on a second. So, let's look up Eternal Champion. ...1993 fighting game developed and published by SEGA for the Genesis. It was one of the few fighting games for its time developed on the ground up for their home console title rather than being converted. So let's see here. I'm on the Wikipedia right now. Christopher Warner is the director. Produced by Mark Nashua. Designed by Michael Latham. Programmed by John Kuwain. Albert C.O. was the artist. The composers. Anybody I recognize? No, but there's 5 composers for this. Dude, I was 12 years old. Just thinking about it. SEGA released Eternal Champions in hope of capitalizing on the fighting game mania that the game industry was amidst following the massive success of Street Fighter II and Mortal Kombat, respectively released in 1991 and 19. The game tried to set itself apart with unique features such as heavier emphasis on story, it's covered, which is fan-fucking-tastic. Characters pulled from different time periods, which ties into the story. Reflectable projectiles, which was ahead of its time. Force fields, fighters that carried weapons, a training mode where fighters had to defend themselves against robotic traps, a novel method of executing moves, which is really charge-based or multi-button hold your presses, and elaborate stage-specific finishing moves called overkills, which were really hard to trigger. 2 years later, an enhanced version was released for Sega CD, the sequel. The game also spawned 2 spin-off games, Chicago Syndicate and Experts, which kind of sucked. And the only re-release this got was 2 of them, which was the Wii's Virtual Console in 2007 and the Sega Genesis Mini. I guarantee you did not either sell well or were recognized at all. So most importantly, let's see here. Game follows to blah, blah, blah. This is special attack meter. So yeah, this tried to do something different and it failed because of the development. The only credited within the game under special thanks, veteran comic book artist Ernie Chan created much of the character design for the game. Yes, upon the game's release, Eternal Champions was given mixed reception and held at an average score, which is really unfortunate, of 62.5 at game rankings at the time of the site's closure. Mean Machines gave it, a score of 97, calling it at least as good as Street Fighter II. I agree with that. Electronic Games gave it a 91%. 4 reviewers of EGM were divided, with 2 of them recommending the game based on a large number of options and selections of moves, while the other 2 described it as a major disappointment, citing mediocre... What? Citing mediocre graphics and unexciting characters? That's bullshit. They gave an average score of 6.25 out of 10, with the average review scores ranging from 5. So IGN in 2008 gave the Virtual Contra release a score of 6, criticizing its difficult-to-learn play mechanics while praising the story, training mode, and it's not likely that many players who've never previously heard of the game will have the patience to spend that. You see, I think that's the thing, too. They say people who don't have the patience are not going to like it. I played the shit out of this. Let me just leave it here so we don't... Yep. In 1995, Megazone included the game in their top 50 games in history, summarizing huge characters and leaps of playability, put it up there with MK2. Complex included it on the list of most blatant Mortal Kombat ripoffs. No. Yeah, dude, this game is severely underrated. It kind of reminds me of Last Action Hero. That, like, when you look at what it's made of, that film, it's really good. So, training mode. Practice sphere. Battle room. Oh! Ooh. Inner strength. Let's dial it up. Let's see what happens here. So this is training mode. So let's see. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 characters. Okay. Damn, dude. Damn you, Shadow! Looks like she squeezes her tits when she does that wind pose. Yeah, right. And this is why we love Trident. Look at that! Perfect! Trident is the shit. All you need to do, all you need to use is his fierce punch and kicks with his fireball and his blender move, the puree. Oh, dude, this is... Wow, the AI is really dirty. Will it come back? Yes! Gotcha! He is broken! Trident wins. And Shadow is, like, the dirtiest. The dirtiest of all the characters. So one player... Fights... Enter contest. Okay. So the soundtrack in this is very good. And all the characters are interesting. And it's actually a really, really good game, man. This is why we love Trident. Look at... Look at it! Oh, he threw me, motherfucker. Oh, the confusion smell! Look at that owl, dude. This is so fucking cool. Here. I'm gonna just leave this lagging for a second. Okay, so I'm getting some bitrate lossiness, so... Oh, shit. Oh, shit, 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 shit! Pain! Slash is actually kind of easy. You just gotta, Ah, shit! Whoa, okay. Whoa, Slash is kicking my ass here. Yeah, I gotta remain more grounded with him. I haven't fought him fighting. This is Street Fighter 4's Volcano stage, by the way. I just want to point that out. Oh! I forgot he could bat it back to you. Seriously? Shit, I'm gonna lose. I'm losing! Okay, hold on a we're just gonna go for it, fuck it. Draw? We're gonna use save scumming here, just if we lose. I gotta get back with that momentum, man. So you're gonna see state 1 saved on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. We're just doing that. We're only loading if we lose. The whole thing. Okay. Thank God for save states, man. Come on, Slash! Damn pain! Damn it! Oh shit! God damn it! Ugh. I'm trying to bait him just the right way. The AI is really slippery in this. Trident! All I'm really using is Fierce Punch, Medium Punch, Fierce Punch, and Fierce Kick with a Charge, Fierce Punch, oh god damn it, and 3 punches for his Puree move.
Coward. Coward.
She threw me. I was supposed to throw her. How the hell did she block that? Dude, really? The AI is really cheap in this. There we go. Got her. Yeah, we're saving it after every round. Fuck that. But, like, considering the funky hardware that is the Sega Genesis, this is, like, gorgeous, man. There's a lot of really cool, just, like, sprite tricks and effects. There's a lot of dithering, which, unfortunately, we don't have any type of filters for Kega Fusion. So we're looking at it like raw pixels, which, you know, growing up with the legit, like, you know, CRT output from a cartridge and a console, like, it looked really good. But seeing it in raw pixel format, it may appear rough, but you could see what they're trying to do here. Why did I just jump up? Shut up! Shut up! I am not a coward! How the hell did she dive under that? Dude, some of these moves are bullshit. Like, the priority the AI has over you is, kind of crazy. See that? Oh, dude, that was almost an opening right there. Gotcha! Unfortunately, we're gonna get pushed out of the corner. Ah, no! 4, 3, 2, 1. Timer's up. We got her. This is not easy, I will say. Jetta, there's a certain way you need to finesse against certain AI opponents. And again, playing this so much is all kind of coming back to me. Yeah, I did try, but it's fucking broken. Da, 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 da. This game is fucking awesome, dude. I fucking love Eternal Champions. It's one of my favorite fighting games of all time. Ah, the hitbox! God damn it! That was bullshit! Now she goes fast until she takes a hit. There we go. I think the AI, knowing MK2 as well as I do, I think the AI is a combination of spaced hitboxes as well as input reading. Brax, dude, this is so cool. Brax is actually really good. Yeah, he's awesome. It's weird because I believe we only get his player 2 color. He's not supposed to be like dark and gold. He's supposed to be like pale and silver. Damn. Oh, nice! Yep. Say it again! I dare you! Nice. Yeah, I remember being really enthralled with this, man. I played the fuck out of this game when I was a kid. Oh, are we gonna get it? Nope. He's starting to catch up a little. Okay. And everybody complained that all of the attacks were charge or hold moves. It actually plays in because you're looking to buffer everything. This is so fucking cool, dude. Oh man. Ooh, almost had it on that. So whenever you throw a projectile, you force him into that miss move, which leads to a free throw. So some characters are obviously a little harder than others, but I think you get the idea just from watching me go through this. Who's the weakling now, motherfucker? That's a re-dizzy, by the way. Oh, was that a perfect? Ah! Trident is so good. I love this guy. I always love the weird oddball characters. What do we got next? Ooh, Blade. Hey, Wesley Snipes, what's up? Did you go to the PhD to avoid taxes? Ooh. Can't, because he's in a corner. Oh, I'm frozen. Oh, I'm slowed! Ooh, dude, this is awesome. There's a lot of effect-based attacks. Shit. Ooh, got him. There's a lot of finesse to the timing, too. You'll notice that I'm doing a lot of, kind of like block manipulation, where a lot of Trident's moves travel as the AI tries to block through them. No! It's slow! Okay. I never thought of doing that charging medium. He also has a bunch of shield moves, which I never used. I think it's like press both lights, both mediums, or both heavies, or something like that. Larson. This is definitely Chicago. Yeah! Oh my god, it's definitely Chicago! Chicago theater? Jesus Christ, dude. Is that gonna kill him? Nope. Yep. Air Raider? The Air Raider. And I love the car in the background, and it's so cool. There was actually a contest that EGM held where they're like, show us video proof that you beat this game, we'll send you a free something. He's a little slippery here. Shit. I was waiting for the part of my yin yang to come back. Timer's gonna run out. We got him. Imagine that. You're like, I'm going back in time to fight for my life, and I lost by a timer? Is the Eternal Champion next? Yeah, we made it to the end, buddies, boys, friends. Why did I just fucking say that? I don't know. He is really cheap. So when he does that, he's invincible. That's a free throw, so we're going to save it here. The idea is you want to have as much life as possible going into each subsequent battle, because you'll notice in the background there's like an eagle and a dragon there. Those are... Oh, he's like, look at my balls! Look at him. Look at my green balls. Anyway, he takes a form of each of those. So there's 4 iterations of Eternal Champions here. So this is going well. So you see he dematerializes there. And like, I remember the shark being the easiest one because he tries to do this stupid fin move. Ego. He bleeds. Well, that means we could kill him. Oh, that's right. He has the Psycho Crusher. Okay. And I forget we get a sliver of health back each time we beat him. Okay, so we're good. So that's form 1. Form of the shark. Is he gonna do shark next? It's totally ridiculous. Yeah! This made me want shark bites as a kid. You just jump over this. And if, oh, that was a... Okay. I tried. A bubble? I like how it pops, too. Oh my god, dude! That's a free throw. If you gotta time it just right, though, like just frame perfection. Really hard to do. How much health we get back? Okay, we're good. So, that's 2, I think. Dragon, I think the tiger one is the worst. Which one is the worst side, tiger? That's the one it is. What if a shark? No, that's it. Ooh, got him. Ah! Fight! What do you think I'm doing? I'm doing a saver. Dude, Trident is just broken. But I've noticed that with a lot of my favorite fighting game characters. Like, take Mortal Kombat 2, for instance. Melina and Scorpion are 2 of the most powerful and abso-fucking-lutely broken characters in the game. Actually, Scorpion is ranked like 6th. He's like mid-tier, but he's really good. But against the AI, he's like 3rd place. Melina is 1st. 2nd place, surprisingly, is Baraka. 3rd place is Scorpion. It's just because of the potency of their movesets and how you could string them into fighting the AI. Especially Melina. Like, holy shit. The dragon sucks. So I think when he flashes like that, he takes like hit priority. I can't remember. Oof. Okay, so let's not throw projectiles. Ah, he slipped right between a button press. So no projectiles, okay. Dude! Huh! So you can see, like, the hitbox on his jump kick, I would say, is really good because it forces the enemy into blocking, or the AI into blocking, and I think that's it. We got him. Yeah, we beat Eternal Champions! You have completed the test. You have proven yourself strong enough to... Oh, strong enough! Strong enough to return to the life that you was stolen from you. You return a few seconds before your death. Use the knowledge of your fates. Use the knowledge of your fate to change the prior outcome of your life. Prepare yourself. You're about to receive the ultimate reward. Life! The balance must be reestablished, and it begins now. So that's right. It goes through this. Is like the preface, and then you see the little thing happen, and you're turned into an orb. You go back, and then more text. It would have been cool if there was, like, splash art like Mortal Kombat 2, but there's only so much text you can fit on the screen. Yeah, dude, this is, like, really fucking cool. I guess that's our ranking? When Trident returned, he quickly avoided the falling pillar. He was then able to face his opponent in a fair fight. Ultimately, Trident's skill proved to be too great for the Roman. At the exact moment of delivering the death blow, Trident realized the futility of it all. Not only did he refuse to finish the opponent, or Roman, but felt compelled to tell his people the error of their ways. Trident succeeded in convincing the Atlanteans and the Romans to work together. Together, they formed a central government using the best ideas from each culture. Their ideas of government, science, and society spread around the world. The Great Wars never occurred because the Atlanteans were not only the masters of the sea, but also of space. God damn, this is good! We're letting the credits roll out of respect, dude. Like, hats off to the team. Initially, whenever you do something different, it's always frowned upon, and years later, you always look back at it. And with this just sense of, I'm just like humbling sense of zen, you know what I mean? Michael Latham, Mark Nashua. Night Crew. Bad Boys. And hats off to those two game balancers. They did a really good job here. On-site testers. Lead tester. I could only imagine what developing this was like. Like, from prototype to early builds, alphas, betas, and then, like, finalizing it. That must have been really cool. And it's interesting because this is a Western-developed fighting game from scratch. I haven't noticed one Japanese person's name in the credits whatsoever. They did considering this game's roots, and how Western development compared to Eastern development was usually night and day, like Eastern development blew us away. This is really good. And I guarantee you, when SEGA had that meeting about whether to prioritize Virtua Fighter or Eternal Champions, it's because, you know, Eastern influence. Fuck those Americans. We're doing things our way. What do they know? Apparently more than you think, dude. And that's it! We're pausing it here. Today was awesome. I'll be doing 1 day a week streams for now, and then I'll get back to like Wednesdays and Saturdays. I'm just leaving it as it is. We'll see how things play out. But until next time, until next Saturday, with some more retro goodness, I think today was a really good diving in point to retro that is sadly overlooked and forgotten about due to like metrics and standards, but when you push those aside, there's a lot more than what you originally thought. And I think Eternal Champions is a very good segue to it. Again, highly underrated, highly overlooked. And when you look beyond the game's initial presentation, there is a lot of depth here, and a sadly underrated fighting game. So, until next time, guys, Saikoro's out of here. Enjoy the video. For those on YouTube, like, subscribing, all that bullshit. If you've watched this far, I appreciate you. Until next time, guys, enjoy your weekend. I'll catch you next time.